Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 1949 West Germany, where optimism was scarce, steel was scarcer, and the hottest new ride on the block looked like a bathtub with the headlights. Yes, we're talking about the Champion C8-2, a two-seat microcar so light it could be towed by a goat, and so charming it made even tax officials smile. Before we go joyriding in this pint-sized miracle, I must raise my crash helmet to the heroes who fund this channel. Our YouTube sponsors. Without you, I'd be test driving Timmy's jet-powered bar stool down the freeway, or worse, reading off a teleprompter for a crypto podcast. Thanks to you, I get to dig through microcar history while my neighbor Bob installs tinfoil wallpaper and yells at pigeons for being drones. Now back to 1949. The war was over. Fuel was expensive. Roads were full of potholes and Allied patrols. Hermann Holbein, a man who had once buried his BMW 327 in a haystack and traded it to a GI for a truck, looked around at the chaos and saw opportunity. Already a successful amateur racer, Holbein had rebuilt a scrap BMW 328 and raced it into legend. But victories didn't pay rent, and he knew West Germany needed cheap wheels fast. Enter Albert Maier, a gear wizard at ZF Friedrichshafen. Maier had been quietly developing a minimalist roadster with ZF's blessing, an open-air box with a lawnmower gearbox, single headlight, and the general sex appeal of a steel shoebox. Holbein saw it, smiled, and licensed the idea. He sold his racing cars, threw together a parts chain using Triumph stationary engines, Bosch electrics, and even gear parts from a giant clock factory, and built it in a sleepy town called Herlingen. The neighbors? Not thrilled. As one paper noted, the locals filed noise complaints while Holbein banged out innovation at all hours. The result was the Champion CH2. Production began in November 1949 and ended around June 1950. Just 11 cars were made, making it rarer than a politician who reads the fine print. Holbein's workshop built the bodies with the help of Bobel, an aircraft builder turned coach builder. And the car targeted a very specific buyer, Germans with license class 4 who could drive small displacement cars without a formal driving test, which meant that if your legs worked and you could count to 3 as in gears, you could drive one. Now don't get it twisted, this wasn't some slapped-together soapbox. The CH2 had genuine engineering cred. It had a Triumph Worker Nürnberg 48cc fan-cooled single-cylinder two-stroke engine behind the seats. Power? A ferocious 6.5 horsepower at 4,700 revolutions per minute. The transmission was a 3-speed manual connected to a rear transaxle, custom-built with inboard brakes, a pretty sophisticated touch for something lighter than my Uncle Carl's schnitzel cart. The chassis was based on ZF's central tube idea. Suspension came courtesy of torsion bars, like you'd find in better German engineering, while braking was handled by external band-style mechanisms. One version of the CH2, now preserved in a museum, even showed inboard rear drums, suggesting Holbein liked to tweak things on the fly. In fact, he recalled the earliest cars, rebuilt them, and improved the driveline. Because even in microcars, quality control matters more than just telling customers don't shift into second. The body? A lightweight tub, no doors, 2 seats, minimal trim, and a faint breeze of dignity. Some wore aluminium wheel discs to hide their motorcycle-spoked shame. It was a featherweight, about 485 pounds. 220 kilograms, dry and just under 1,015 pounds, 460 kilograms, fully loaded. That's less than my neighbor Bob's conspiracy library. Dimensions came in at 9 feet 2 inches, 2,008 millimeters long, 4 feet 5 inches, 360 millimeters wide, and 4 feet 2 inches, 1,070 meters tall, with the soft top raised. The wheelbase ran 5 feet 7 inches and 700 millimeters, and track width was just under 3 feet 10 inches, 150 millimeters, after Holbein narrowed it from the prototype. Performance? A cautious 60 kilometers per hour, 37 miles per hour, though some early testers claimed it hit 75 kilometers per hour, 47 miles per hour if you believed in miracles, or drove downhill in a hurricane. But where it really shone was fuel economy, roughly 4.0 liters per 100 kilometers, or about 59 miles per gallon. That's the kind of number Bob would tattoo on his arm next to trust no one. Yet what made the CH2 different wasn't just specs, it was spirit. It was the ultimate make-do-with-less car. A champion for the classless, licenseless dreamers of the rubble years. It had inboard brakes, torsion bar suspension, hand-built bodywork, and a drivetrain that sounded like a caffeinated sewing machine. And best of all, no one needed a test to drive it. In other words, Timmy would have bought 6. Let's talk about design. Holbein and his team at Bobel Coachbuilders didn't believe in fluff. Every inch of the CH2's design screamed practical over pretty, and yet from some angles it was downright adorable, like a dachshund in a tuxedo. There was no chrome, no fins, no fake luxury. The visual language was industrial simplicity, curved steel panels bent over a central spine. Motorcycle roots peeked through, especially in the early prototypes, which had wire wheels and exposed mechanicals. Yet for all that, there was elegance in the economy. The louvered tail cover gave the engine breathing room, and the tiny hood hinted at mechanical ambition beneath. Everything had a reason. Everything did a job. Let's put that into context. In 1950, a Volkswagen Beetle cost about 5,300 Deutsche Marks. The champion CH2? Just 2,650 Deutsche Marks. That's less than half the price, or roughly the cost of a decent bicycle and a week's groceries. If we convert that today using the Bundesbank's purchasing power factor, that's around 9,000 euros, or about $10,500. Not bad for a handmade runabout that could park in a closet. And what about its collector value? In February 2013, RM Auctions sold one of the only 2 surviving CH2s from the Weiner Microcar Museum for a staggering $63,250. That's 63 grand for a car that looks like it escaped a children's cartoon, and we love it for that. Only 2 survivors are documented today. One made its way through legendary collection. The other is safely housed in the PS Speicher Museum in Einbeck, where it serves not just as a display, but as a symbol of ingenuity, thrift, and that stubborn German urge to over-engineer everything, even something the size of a bar stool. The CH2 wasn't just a car. It previewed what would come next, the Champion 250, the 400 Coupe, and eventually the Micro 500 sedan. But unlike its descendants, the CH2 had no bumpers, no doors, and no illusions. It existed to move people, cheaply and cleverly, in a world that desperately needed motion. So hats off to Hermann Holbein, the racing mechanic who gave Germany its smallest racing slipper. And hats off to the CH2 itself, a car so rare, so quirky, and so deeply rooted in its era that it deserves a spot in the Microcar Hall of Fame. Now, if you enjoyed this deep dive into the land of tiny cars and tinier engines, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, folks, keep your spark plugs clean, your torsion bars tight, and your expectations delightfully low.